Tonight's agenda, again, simple and mostly focused on you. I'm going to start by just sharing a little bit about what we as a community have done so far over the past 5 months since we started, what's on the radar for us moving forward, and how you guys can get more involved if you want to be, or if you have friends or family that might want to get involved as well. The rest of the time, again, will be focused on your questions as you put them in the Q&A. So with that, what have we been up to as a community so far? A lot of stuff, actually. And one of the big highlights was our Talk the Walk 500+ person protest that we had in Jefferson Park back on No King's Day. And this was just a great way for the community to come together and really show that, despite what a lot of people might think about the Northwest Side being a little more, conservative or whatever, there are plenty of people that are pro-democracy out here, plenty of people that are progressive. And this is just an awesome way that the community came together and showed that we're certainly not alone in this fight, and that we are here to fight to defend our democracy. Now, all of that stuff doesn't happen either without a bunch of volunteers and people in the organization that are helping out. And I'm really proud to say, too, that supporting all this stuff that I'm going to continue to talk about are a team of over 50 volunteers from the community that are working in an official capacity with us. And that is just a testament to all of the great people that we have here on the Northwest Side and your passion and helping us, fight the good fight here as we continue to descend into authoritarianism in our world. Good times. Not so good times, but actual good times are another thing that we did recently, which was launched our own independent media organization. You might have heard that we launched a platform called Amplify about a month ago. And this is an opportunity for us in the community to highlight people that are both affected adversely by this administration and their policies, but also the people that are helping, the helpers, as our director of storytelling, Hannah, likes to say, that are stepping up and trying to make a difference. And so the purpose of having a platform like Amplify is to, again, give voice to the voiceless and make sure that more people are aware of what's happening, even right here in our own community, in a blue state, in a blue city, so that these problems that we're seeing in the world aren't just brushed aside as something that's happening to other people somewhere else, right? Let's put the focus on our community and show who's helping and also maybe who needs help. Which is another key point of Amplify too, is that with every story we publish, we're making sure we're putting out resources and links and other organizations that can help people that are adversely impacted. Or if you want to be a helper and help those people out, we have ways to connect you as well on that front. So very excited about that and the whole Amplify team, which again is just totally made up of Northwest Siders that are volunteering their time to make this happen. Another great thing that we've done over the past 5 months as a community is that we've activated over 2,500 people in just those 5 months across all of our Northwest Side neighborhoods, which again is just an incredible number for such a short amount of time. And again, really speaks to just how engaged this community is and how much we all care about the future for our family, our children, and our friends, and anyone else. And so whether you're one of the 2,500 members who merely is just getting our emails and doing an action here or there, all the way up through someone who's a full-on volunteer to a leadership team member, all of you matter, all of you are important, and we thank you so much for being a part of this. One of the other really cool things that I'm proud about and excited about for the community too is that we're not just putting out a bunch of events and saying, come to this. We're actually empowering all of you, all of our neighbors in the community, to be an organizer yourself, to organize your own member-led events. This is great not only from a scalability perspective, allowing us to do much more engagement throughout the community beyond just what the leadership team can do, but it also allows you to really set the direction for where we go as a community, right? Like, yes, I am a leader, and Jess and Kristen, who will join us shortly, they're leaders, but this isn't our thing. This is everybody's thing. And so these member-led events are great opportunities to allow you to have a voice and to kind of put your strategies forward as well, whether that's going and putting on postcard parties like we had a week or so ago at Eris, to our protest bracelet making parties that we do before every big protest to kind of build some camaraderie and build a nice little visual identity, especially get the kids involved too. And then even organizing pop-up neighborhood protests. There's definitely opportunities for you guys to do any and all of that stuff and more. And we'll talk about a little bit later how you can post one of those things on your own if you're interested in doing so. So that's what we've been up to over the past 5 months. Now, what's coming and what's on the radar, and what can you be keeping an eye out for from us as we go into the next few months and the end of the year? Well, many of you who are on this call may have also attended the 1 Million Rising webinar that happened last week. And there are going to be 3 of those total. There's another one next week and then 1 2 weeks later. And the idea behind this new initiative through Indivisible National is to try to train up as many people throughout the country in non-cooperation, what that looks like, from the things that you may think of, from strikes to boycotts to sit-ins, but also some of the smaller things like simply an elementary school teacher refusing to take down an "everyone is welcome" poster in their classroom, which yes, does happen, unfortunately. So we, as part of that initiative, will be organizing a local community training once that webinar series is done. So you can be on the lookout for that at the beginning of September, which is when all of the materials from it will be published and ready to go. And we'll do that all in person and try to break it up into like some small groups as well to allow everyone to kind of get a chance to speak and hear and give their ideas for what this might look like in our community. So be on the lookout for that. Another thing we're working on is an anti-big beautiful bill visibility campaign. So as we all know, unfortunately, that budget did pass. So now we need to make sure that people that are less politically engaged in our community are aware of the bad stuff that's happening, and more importantly, where the blame needs to go when the elections come around again in 2026 and beyond. So we're working with our copywriters, with our action team, and with our artists to put together a bunch of materials, from posters to flyers to stickers, that we as a community can kind of put up in all our community spaces to help, again, draw attention to what's happening and who is responsible for it. So be on the lookout for that as well. Another sort of big shift from an Indivisible, just nationwide perspective is kind of changing the playbook, if you will, a little bit, going from what we've traditionally focused on in the past, which is largely working with members of Congress, pressuring our reps and our senators, to starting to target more of these institutional pillars that are also necessary to prop up an authoritarian, right? Like, a would-be king can't levy taxes on his own. He can't staff a military on his own. He can't, enforce laws on his own. These all require everyday people to provide said services. And so we are going to make sure that these everyday people in these different pillars, whether that's business, organized labor, faith communities, military, civic institutions, or professional associations, are taking a stand as well. And so it's not just always going to be about, hey, call your rep and tell them that they shouldn't do this. We're going to be thinking more creatively, like, hey, how many of you guys are lawyers? Who's in a bar association? Why is that bar association still, have these lawyers working in the Trump administration that are not following the Constitution at all under good standing, right? Or, hey, you're a part of a university alumni network. Why hasn't that university spoken up against this as well? So these are going to be some more of the actions that you start seeing coming out of not only Indivisible National, but also us in our local playbooks and things like that. We'll talk a little bit later in just a moment in getting involved, but there are opportunities on a new team that we're building specific to these pillars. So if you have connections in any of these areas, again, for any of the 6 pillars that you see, and you think you might want to be involved in starting to set the strategy for that, that would be a good opportunity to potentially volunteer. I'll tell you how to do that in just a second. The last few things that I'll mention as far as what's on the radar. So, of course, the 2026 midterms are going to be a massive focus. So we are working now to start to put together our election team and the strategy on that front for the 2026 midterms. So what are we going to be doing from a canvassing and a phone banking and a get out the vote perspective? So again, if that's something that's interesting to you, we're looking to form the team now. So that's an opportunity to get involved. We'll be looking to, probably in the next couple months, also do a mutual aid volunteer fair to try to connect our members to other organizations in our community that are doing a bunch of great work and allow you to help your neighbors as well, right? We can't always control exactly what's happening in Washington, but we can control what we do for one another here on the Northwest side. And then finally, as our government relation team continues to get up to speed and build the relationships with our electeds, we'll be looking to partner with them on more opportunities as well, from town halls to candidate events, you name it. All right, so the last thing I'll say before turning it over to you guys is just from a getting involved perspective, there are two things. One is, again, if you have an idea for something you want to try, or maybe you want to help out, but you're not ready to commit to like a volunteer position or anything, that's where hosting a member-led event is a great option. Just pick a one-off idea. Hey, maybe you want to get a book club together to read one of the banned books they're trying to get out of schools, or maybe you want to, again, get a group together for writing postcards, right? Or maybe you want to spring up a little pop-up neighborhood protest in Edgebrook or Norwood Park, or whatever neighborhood you're specifically in. All you have to do is go to icnw.social/host, which is what you see on the screen, or scan that QR code. And there's just going to be a little form there. You fill out the form with your idea. That'll go to us on the leadership team, and we will help you finalize your idea, market your idea, and make sure that you have the supplies and the support you need. So again, I want to make it clear that when we're saying host an event, that doesn't mean that you're on your own and you have to figure it all out. We've built up a ton of infrastructure over the past 5 months, and we are here to support all of our members that do choose to do a member-led event. Finally, if you are willing to kind of take a bigger step and want to get more involved on a volunteer basis, we have a number of open positions right now, ranging from those institutional pillars that we talked about, to our election lead team, to mutual aid, to our under 35 actions, to community fulfillment and getting supplies in the right places. You name it, there's probably something that will fit your skill set. And even if there's not, I still would say apply to something that's close. And when you talk to us, we'll be able to tell you a way that we can use your skills as well. A lot of the really cool things we're doing came up not because I had a specific job rec open for it, but because someone just said hi and said, hey, this is what I'm interested in. We said, cool, let's do it. So don't hesitate, even if there's something that's not a perfect fit. You can always just volunteer or send in the form anyway, or even just email me at kevin@indivisiblechicagonnw.org. All right, so that's all I had to say. So we're going to flip it over to the Q&A now, and what you guys would like to ask us or ideas you want to run by us. Again, I will remind everyone how to use that Q&A if you missed it in the beginning or didn't join early enough. Again, if you're on the desktop, you're just going to go down to the bottom right corner. You're going to see that little 9-dot grid. If you're on mobile and you don't see it, you'll look for that little up arrow, and it will then, once you click on that, you'll see that little 9-dot grid. When you do that, it'll open this window. One of the options is Q&A. You will click on that, and then you can start asking questions. And again, upvoting any questions that you want to make sure we get eyes on, because we will be working down from the most popular ones to the least popular ones from there. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to have Jess and Kristen slide over here as well, just to introduce themselves and to help out with some of the Q&A as it comes in.
Awkward shuffle.
Awkward shuffle. Would you guys like to say hi really quick and just introduce your role on the team and maybe which neighborhood you're in?
Desperately.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen Vandewalker. I am the director of the action team, and I am from Hermosa. So I am one of our but not our furthest staff member anymore. That's you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica George. You can call me Jess. I am our comms and marketing lead, and I am in Wicker Park, Bucktown, depending on who you ask.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. I don't see any Q&A questions yet, so please start to get those in, but I do see one raised hand. So let me see if I can address that really quick. Yeah, so we have it set up so the mics are muted, so we don't have too much background noise. So Monica, if you don't mind just putting that in the Q&A, we'll be happy to answer your question. Helen, I see that you dropped a note just saying commending us for organizing events for under 35s. thank you. We are doing our best on that front, trying to be as creative as we can. We've got some positive things brewing there too. So we're excited about that.
We should probably point out that our leadership team is on the younger side as well. So they are stepping up to.
Well, go ahead, man.
Well,
you have the mic.
I happen to be, as a Gen Xer, the oldest person on the LT, and I think Devin's the youngest, maybe, but the vast majority of folks on the team are 35. So.
Yep. Kristen, you need to get closer, I guess.
Oh.
But yes. All right, so we got a couple questions. I think the first one's for you, Kristen. So when will the planning for the midterm events start?
So technically already started. We are looking to build out an elections team. First thing we're going to do is build out a calendar. So we'll start with midterms and work our way backwards through the primaries. And through even the pre-primary season when candidates are still announcing and petitioning and stuff like that. So if you are interested in doing election work specifically, please email me, Kristen, at indivisiblechicagonnw.org. But also that job description is up on the website that Kevin just talked about. And once the calendar is built, we'll probably have a whole bunch of different volunteer options depending on what your physical commitment is, what your time commitment is, like what works for you. So we're going to continue to try and create inclusive opportunities so that everybody can work on the subject matter area that they're interested in.
Awesome. All right, next question. So do we ever do text banking in addition to phone banking? I don't see why not.
So the opportunities that we've provided through the playbook are generally run by other orgs, and there just hasn't been a ton of text banking lately. But I think we're going to see that, especially from some of we're going to see that from like Vote Save America and some of the other organizations that do more as we get closer to the election. So like one of the first things that we'll be doing in election prep is postcards to voters in other states, because they're doing voter roll purges, little things to take people's votes away. Like we want to make sure we're turning people out and having them check their registration. So we'll probably also do that on the ground here. But if anybody is particularly interested in text banking, I personally have not done it before, so would love to hear from you, hear why you like it, and maybe find out who you've done it with so that we can look into partnering with them.
I think generally speaking, we're trying to diversify some of the opportunities based on what people are wanting to do to volunteer. So love that feedback that text banking is something of interest. And like Kristen said, we want to do more writing and that type of thing. So we had a great event a couple of weeks ago at Eris doing postcard and letter writing. So we want to make that more of a monthly thing as well. So we'll look into some text bank options too.
Awesome. Looks like we got another question here from Emma. So Emma asks, I know the Zillennial group has social events, and we have the family dinner series coming up too, or we're in the process of. Any plans for one big ICNW social event? Well, first, let me just say on the family dinner front, for anyone who's maybe unaware of it. So yeah, at the moment, we have basically members from all of our different neighborhoods on the Northwest side. There's 12-ish, maybe a little more, give or take. And we're trying to have like one dinner in each neighborhood. Small group, just a chance for some of our most engaged people to get together, meet one another, talk about ideas, and just come together in community. So far, we had one in Edison Park, which I think was great. I think they had like 15 people or something show up there, so that was awesome. Emma also led a very nice group down in Logan Square as well. This week, I think Thursday, we have one in Dunning coming up. And then we also have ones on the radar for Avondale, Irving Park, Old Irving Park, and Wicker Park, Bucktown. So if you don't hear your neighborhood listed, that's an opportunity for you to lead a member-led event using that form that I mentioned earlier, which I can go back to on the slide over here, just so you guys can scan it right there. So if you want to host one of these small family dinners in your neighborhood, and again, host doesn't have to be at your house. If you want it at your house, great, but you can also just pick a local restaurant, make a reservation for 10 people, and then let me know, and we'll set up the stuff that you need to promote it. That's all there is to it. So now going to Emma's question. So any plans for one big ICNW social event? So we've done a few of these in the past. At the very beginning of the chapter, we had a big meet and greet in February. We had a game night in March. We had a happy hour in, I think, April. And then, you know, with the summer and all of the activism stuff around Hands Off and No Kings, we've kind of been focusing on more of those like action-oriented things. But I don't see any reason why we couldn't have another big all-member social event. So yeah, we will look to add that to our event planning form.
And if anybody has ideas for stuff like that, because we do have 2,600 folks. So what are the kind of big events that you're interested in going to? Like, probably not going to do a sit-down gala. Just putting it out there.
But I have a gala dress I want to wear. Come on. All right. So it looks like, Kristen, this next one's for you again. So concerned about ICE raids, wonder what actions we could do to push back on that. Thoughts on that?
So there are a couple of things that we can do to push back on that. And I believe I just had the Visible Act as an action in the playbook this week.
Yeah.
So there's legislation in DC now that we can be putting pressure on our electeds for. And there's also some work going on at both the city and the state level to try and minimize the cooperation between local law enforcement and national
ICE,
law
right.
enforcement. I mean, ICE, but also all of the other groups, because nobody knows who they are because they're wearing masks and no badges and things like that. There's also a push to do a local law similar to the Visible Act that would require all law enforcement to be wearing identification badges and no masks within the state. So we can definitely do something around that. There's a very specific action called rapid response. In Chicago, the way that generally is, well, what that term generally means is those are folks that are trained in de-escalation that go to the site of an ICE raid or whatever and try to advocate for the people that are being targeted and also to keep the kind of temperature down a little bit. We probably will not be offering rapid response trainings, but as organizations look for new rapid responders, we'll definitely put that out there because that is an important skill set. And if you are interested in doing something smaller that's directly related to that, we're also going to start doing just basic visibility actions in the community. So we can, as we're thinking about what topic areas we want to cover and where we want to go, we can take like anti-ICE messages as something under consideration for that. I hope that helps.
And if it doesn't, feel free to ask a follow-up question. All right, so working our way down here from, again, what's most popular. So it looks like that one go. Oh yeah, this one. So when is the next national protest? Do we have any insight on that yet?
We would love to know when the national protest is. I mean, technically it's this weekend. There's the Families First thing that in Chicago, the big event is being organized by the SEIU. And we literally just, I think you just sent it to me, got a tiny bit of detail about that. So I will put that in Signal this afternoon, and then I'll do a rally meetup sheet for it. It is down in Union Park, which is not easy to get to from here. So I guess we can carpool and spot hero. But the great frustration, I think, for a lot of us at the local level, and I mean, even for a lot of us, if we talk to our other folks in Chicago and stuff, has been that there doesn't seem to be a consistent plan ahead for something so that there's something every month. One of the things that we're experimenting with right now is doing a citywide day of action. So I have kind of proposed this to ICA, and there are a couple of other chapters that I'm going to reach out to. But my hope is that if we can get organized around citywide, maybe that'll set the example, and it'll build a bigger presence of our events in Chicago. Because like, we're not the only ones doing cool stuff.
Right.
And we're doing most of it.
Yeah. All right. So next question here is, are there any plans for social campaigns, local or national, for us to participate in? Well, the one thing that I'll mention is the anti-BBB stuff that we just talked about here. So this is something we're doing hyper locally, which is again meant to be a social awareness program, sort of a physical in real life type thing, but I don't see why we can't have a few social media posts as well to go along with that, that you guys can spread. Indivisible National, actually, if you want to put that link that I sent you the other night chat. So Indivisible National also just published a like a social media repository of a bunch of pre-made social media posts that you can put on whatever channel you use, whether that's Instagram or Blue Sky or Facebook or what have you, with basically topics related to what's in the news lately, let's say. So like right now, it's a lot of the Epstein stuff, which maybe you are for or against, but it is the talk of the moment. But all that stuff is in there. Jess is going to drop a link in the chat for you a little later if you want to get to that social media repository. And they make it very easy for you. It's all pre-written. All the images are there. All you have to do is click a share button, and it'll go to your accounts. Awesome. So then let's see, next one that has an upvote is, does anyone have ideas for protest actions that are also fun, like a flash mob? Well, one thing I'll say about that is, again, if you do have one of those ideas, there's your form. I mean, honestly, though, that is the best way. Like, whenever you have ideas, even if they're not fully baked out, like just submit the form and get the process started, and we'll work with you to put together the strategy and what that might look like and help you organize it. Kristen, I don't know if you had anything to add on that front. Or...
I'm a big fan of the flash mob idea, although we do not have a choreographer on the team yet. So we would probably need somebody to work on that. But yeah, I mean, like, to be quite honest, I have just a random brainstorm list, and every time I think of something new, I add it in there. So, I mean, you want to do a read-in at one of the libraries, we can do a read-in at one of the libraries. You want to do, a giant family get-together potluck at the park, we can do a giant family get-together potluck at the park. If you have the idea and we can figure out a way to operationalize it, I will try and support.
Definitely. Okay, Jess, I'll have you take this next one. So I would have loved to join the postcard party at Eris. What's the best way to stay informed about actions and events?
Yeah, so we know everybody has different ways that they're trying to stay up to date with us. So we, I think first and foremost, if you're in our Signal channel, that's the most dynamic way to find us. So we post in announcements. I know sometimes the chat can be blowing up on certain days depending on the news that's happening, but we're going to be working hard to make sure all the latest events are in announcements. You can also follow us on Mobilize. So there's just a way to follow, and I can drop the link in here for that, but then you'll see any new events and get emails for that. And then a lot of times the latest events are also posted in the playbook. at least the priority ones that we have. So those are a few big areas where we're pushing out. We're also doing a lot on social, either through our Instagram handle that's on this page, or our Blue Sky page. So depending on your flavor and where you want to go get your media and updates from us, those are all a bunch of ways to do it.
And
Yeah.
always on the website too.
Yeah, and if you just go to our website, we have a calendar of upcoming events that we will see all this stuff as well. So that's just indivisiblechicagonw.org. I'll also mention 2 other add-ons to what Jess and Kristen just said. So our Blue Sky handle is the same thing as the Instagram handle that you see on the screen, so you can find us there. And when it comes to the playbook, if anyone's unfamiliar what we mean when we're talking about playbook. So playbook is an email that we send to everybody from Kristen on Monday mornings at 8 o'clock or shortly thereafter. And that has what are the top 3 to 5 things that are happening here locally that you can get involved in. And yeah, so that's just a great way to stay informed. If you, for some reason, don't know what I'm talking about, check your spam folder, because sometimes those things tend to wind up there, unfortunately. And if you still don't see it there, then you can sign up for those playbook emails, as well as any other chapter announcements that we do via email at that same website, indivisiblechicagonnw.org. All right, so I got another one here with 2 upvotes. So this is from Sean. So can you talk a little about the process of building out this org so far? What has surprised you? What have you learned? What problems are you trying to work out? That kind of thing. Just curious about how it's going behind the scenes. All right, what a question, Sean.
Well, we're drunk right now.
Yeah, we're all totally wasted right now, so that tells you.
What's going well.
Yes. No, so I mean, I'll talk about it first from my perspective, from kind of starting in, and then I'll have these 2 kind of weigh in as they've joined the team too. But I think when I started this back in, I guess, end of January, beginning of February, I really didn't have a ton of idea what I was doing. I've never done this before. I'm not a professional organizer. I'm not paid to do this. So I was just kind of like, the world is not going the way that I wish it would, so I got to try to do something here. And I put it out there. And then our very first event, we had packed the entire bar. We had 250 people, standing room only. It was just like a wake up moment, honestly, that, wow, this community is ready to do something and to fight back. And so from there, it was really just a matter of trying to give as many people in the community as many opportunities as possible to use their own unique skills. So like, I feel like with a lot of political organizations, they tend to treat people as just like another body. It's like, go to this protest or join this phone bank. And we're not really paying as much attention to the individual and what they uniquely can bring to the table. And so that's where, as I started to build out the teams and look for leadership people and build out the different functions, I really just tried to get to know our neighbors first and say like, hey, well, what are you good at? What do you like doing? What do you not like doing? And that's what led to things like us having an independent media organization, or being able to partner with artists and videographers and photographers. And there's so many different ways that we can resist and support one another. Another good example is simply being able to babysit and like provide childcare at events so that parents can participate in some of this too. So yes, even babysitting is a form of resistance. So I've been trying to kind of build up the organization with that community first perspective, getting to know people. What do they want to do? What are they into? And how can we leverage that in a unique way to advance our cause? Things that I've learned, problems that we're working out. I mean, I think the biggest learning thing for me is just figuring out how best to not burn out, not burn people out, I should say. Because everybody has a day job, or everybody else has 15 other things going on, and so like adding a big responsibility like this onto that plate is a lot. It really is a lot. And so just trying to find ways that we can balance. Okay, well, here's what we need, but also remember that you are a person and you have all these other priorities, and we need to be respectful of that. So that's just something that we continue to work on and do a better job with, and try to make sure that we're supporting all our volunteers as much as we can. And yeah, so Jess, Kristen, anything you want to add?
I have to revisit the question. Sorry, old lady.
What have we learned this process? I mean, I would +1 all of that, but like none of us know what we're doing. That's totally fine.
Don't lie. I am absolutely. I am full of that.
Kristen knows everything she's doing. The rest of us don't.
But yeah, so there's been, a few things that we call maybe like failures, I guess. And we're like, okay, that event isn't getting enough traction. Like we had one of those today where we're like, that's not going to work. Like, hey, it turns out a Saturday night in the summer, not the best time to get people to come out. Also, it's going to be 95 and raining. So, figure that out. But yeah, like I think how to engage with all of you and what you're looking for and what we can best provide, whether that is supporting, you leading your own things or us bringing them to you is the biggest thing. It's just what's working, what's not, throwing some stuff out there and then evolving as we go.
Yeah. And I'll definitely second that too. Like we are not magical experts on everything. We do not have every answer to everything. We are not political strategists by any means. We are quite literally just your neighbors who happen to have a little time that are putting this stuff together. So again, we are not infallible. We are not all knowing. So if you guys have ideas, you have suggestions, you don't like the way something's going, or you want to see more of something else, we are genuinely asking and inviting you to participate in the direction of this. All right, so we have a few other questions that came in here. So let's start with this one from Jan at the top. So are there any actions planned to encourage Illinois legislators to redistrict the federal House districts in favor of more progressive representation, like what's happening in Texas? I do not personally know of any, but
I can take this.
Yeah.
So, number one, there just isn't a whole hell of a lot that we can do in Illinois. Like Illinois is a very, very blue state. But the second thing is the way that those threats, I guess, or counterbalances work out best is when you can balance the damage that a red state can do with countering blue seats. So, like, for example, it was one of the Dakotas, I think, was going to change to winner take all, and Maine said, well, we can do that, and they canceled each other out. So now the hope is, because Newsom has said he'll do the same thing, if Abbott does it, hopefully California and Texas will cancel each other out, and it won't actually happen. But I don't know that there's been a national look towards, should we just all blow the norms out of the water? I think that right now, a lot of the national debate on that seems to be about, can we take a break from the norms now and then codify the norms as rules once we have the power to do so?
yeah. Let's see. Allison asks, is there any plan to have a downtown chapter? There already is a downtown chapter. So yes.
I'm dropping the link in.
Jess is going to drop the link in the chat for you if you want to be involved in that downtown chapter. All right. So then Brian asks, do we have any future aldermen or candidates in the wings for us to rally behind and support? That's probably more of an Enrique question.
I think that is an Enrique question. I mean, we do have a couple of candidates in the chapter, but nobody for hyperlocal. And I think aldermen aren't up this cycle, or are they? I can never remember. Chicago elections screw me up because I'm not an expert. But as far as I know, so actually, let me take a step back. We are not currently in the practice of cultivating candidates. That we would probably want to partner with somebody else on, like a run for something or something like that. If folks are interested in finding those candidates for small offices and stuff like that, we can definitely figure out resources to point you to. And if folks are interested in running for something, then yes, please immediately go to, it's runforsomething.org, I think. Mm-hmm. Go there now.
More links.
Yeah. And Enrique hopped in the chat saying that the citywide elections are in 2 years. So
There you go.
you have 2 years to fill out your run for something form and get there.
Perfect. All right, and then Jan just posted an FYI. So yeah, if you look at the Illinois congressional districts, they're already highly gerrymandered in favor of the Dems. I think that's what you were referring to too. It's like we've already gerrymandered the state a lot. Yeah. All right. So we still have time. There's no other questions pending, but please do feel free to add a few more questions in here. I guess, let's see. We talked about the citywide day thing, right? Okay, cool. Talked about the 1 million rising. So yeah. Any other questions from the crew? You can also ask us what our favorite color is or favorite candies. Jess is the queen of candies over here. Favorite dogs, favorite cats, you name it, we will answer. Okay, so Sean threw one in. So have you seen a big influx of new members from events like Hands Off and No Kings, or what would you say has been driving people to join so far? So yes, definitely a big influx, especially from No Kings. I mean, No Kings alone added another 1,000 people to our membership, largely through actually the Chalk the Walk event that we did in Jefferson Park. That had, again, probably like 500 people actually show up, and over 1,000 people that are RSVP'd for it. Many of them were totally brand new to the chapter in general. So that was wildly successful from a recruiting standpoint. And yeah, so I would definitely say, like, whenever these big national things come up, there's definitely more interest that people have in kind of looking for their local chapter. Yeah, and so in between those things, the other stuff that has been driving people to join, it's really just the events. I mean, that's our biggest driving factor for new members, is somebody hears of one of our events, whether that's a local postcarding thing or a social event, or again, one of the smaller Chalk the Walks we're doing, and they sign up for it and they meet us and they want to do more. So, you know, if you're looking to get more of the people in your circle involved, I would say start with that. Just invite them to one of the events, bring them with you. Especially when we do the 1 million rising, like, local training, one of the big focuses of that is relational organizing. And so making sure that you are bringing a friend or a family member to these types of things. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the pattern we're seeing so far. And I would definitely encourage, if you're trying to get someone involved, bring them to an event first and let them see for themselves what it's like.
Oh, and one of the reasons that we were able to do so well with the No Kings membership was, for that event and for other national events, we have access to National Mobilize is the platform that we use to create events and do RSVPs. So when the events go through national organizations, they get a lot more cross promotion. So if there are places in the city that you see doing interesting work that is, you know, kind of like democracy adjacent, or if there are other national networks that you are interested in, like, potentially, like, finding out what their schedule is. I mean, like, we kind of know all the big ones: 5051, Women's March, Indivisible, obviously. But, like, so anytime we can access kind of outside of our mailing list, so a lot of that is you guys bringing stuff in, it's forwarding our emails on. That
actually reminds me of another thing, which is yard signs. So if you want to drop a link to those, it's icnw.social/signs.
I will model.
Yes. So we actually printed a whole bunch of yard signs last month. We're still distributing those now. You can add your name to the list to get a yard sign too. They look like that. And we've already had success finding new members just through people walking on the street and seeing a yard sign, including someone who's maybe going to be even a, you know, full-on volunteer with us. So good old-fashioned, you know, in-person, real-life stuff also works incredibly well for recruiting. So you want to get more people in the fight, and you have a yard or an ability to put a sign in a yard, just drop the link for that. And you know, it's effective, it works, and it's not subject to social media algorithms either. So we can get in front of more people that wouldn't see our work otherwise. All right, so Allison says we are all amazing. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you, Allison. Thank you for being here.
It's weird that no one asked the question, why is Kevin so beautiful? Like you had in the example.
I know that was out there. You know, I thought it would, you know, take flight, but it didn't, sadly. What gives you joy and or hope? Who wants to take that one first? Okay, it'll be me. Oh no, you were gonna do it. Great, go Jess.
I mean, this is hard and time consuming, but honestly, like doing stuff like this, meeting new people, doing it, being in our chat, sometimes it gets a little crazy in there, but you know, just seeing what people are thinking, just being around some like-minded people and being able to vent or do some little or large thing to make a difference is, I feel like, aside from, you know, laughing at ridiculous memes, is like the best thing right now. Because a lot of people feel similar to us, and that's why we're all here. So it feels good to meet more people like that.
So I'm gonna go with constantly reminding myself that action is the antidote to hopelessness.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yay, good job. Well, now you can come up with something else.
Okay. Crap.
I mean, like, I mean, yes. Like, for example, being petty gives me hope. So instead of drinking Kentucky bourbon, I drink vodka now. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's like just a little thing, like Mitch McConnell somewhere off. You know, but I think it's looking for the humor situation. So like, even I know, like, sometimes when I'm out doing events, like Chalk the Walk was a really wonderful event. I had so much joy that day, and unbelievably so did my teenage kid, which was shocking. But I had a great day we did a photo booth for democracy, and it was just me sitting in the park for 2 hours. And as I was dripping sweat, and I was thinking, wow, I am making such a great impression on all of these people that I am meeting. And then I thought to myself, you know what? There are people who are being kidnapped off the street, and the least I can do is sweat for my bra. Like, this is.
There you go. Kristen for you.
Super classy.
Super classy. And then, yeah, for me, I mean, I would say that the thing giving me joy or hope is really, honestly, just the community and just seeing the support from the community. You know, I had never been a big, like, community member type guy. Like, I've lived here for like 13 years and, you know, went about my business, you know, maybe knew a couple people in the area, but never really got to never got that involved in anything in the community. And so, like, this, despite the fact that it's a bad thing that has brought us together, just the simple fact of meeting so many people that are just right in our backyard that are just honestly just amazing people, let alone forgetting the activism piece of it, has been really encouraging. Even just from a personal mental health perspective, you know, being around people that care and want to do something and share values and things like that has been huge. And then on, again, the activism front, like, just, it makes a huge difference when you are surrounded by hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people that are fighting for the same thing you are, versus just sitting alone on your couch, doom scrolling and thinking, you know, there's nothing you can do. So that's it for me.
We do a fair amount of doom scrolling.
We do that
or
too.
at least I do, because I run our
Unfortunately.
social.
All right, what have we found works best to get people involved, specifically with persons who are resistant for whatever reason to get involved? Good question. Does anyone want to take that first?
So asking people what they actually want to do has kind of been my secret weapon. And also offering the broadest possible swath of opportunities that we can. So things that people can do from their couch, from their car, from, you know, when they're out walking the dog, like finding those opportunities that fit into people's schedule. But honestly, ideas for more things that people can do is, like, obviously one of the top 10 things that I need. So if you're ever like on Signal and you're like, oh, I had this great idea that you could do this while you X, you know, tell me, because I will find somebody who wants to do it.
Jess, did you have something on it?
I was gonna say the social stuff, and Emma had a great point about potentially doing more of those things, getting people together so we can all just kind of chat and meet each other and find out that we have a lot in common. I think has been a much easier way for people to come in and bring a friend if it's just a happy hour or something like that. So, it's summer, so it's a bit challenging to do that right now, but going forward, I think those and like the family dinners are really part of that too. It's an easy way, go somewhere in your neighborhood, meet some people, do a quick action at the end to also show how easy it is to do those. Like literally take out your phone and email someone or send a text or whatever. So I think those are the couple big ones. And on the Zillennial front, one of the things that Devin was doing at the beginning was kind of having some of those small group chats, and that was kind of what inspired some of these other social actions where it's like people just need to hear sometimes that they have people that are like-minded around them, and they have people who can help them take action in a comfortable way. So I feel like some of those, easing people in has been a good option.
Yeah, totally. And that is honestly the reason behind the social events that we do, because, for most of us that are on this call, like we pay an inordinate amount of attention to politics and are online a lot. And we are probably in the top 0.0001% of most engaged people out there. And so we have to remember that when we're bringing in people that have never been involved in politics before, like they often come in with this preconceived notion of like, oh, it's a bunch of radicals, it's crazies, it's all this stuff I don't want to be involved in. Like I'll always remember one of these calls. Like you can schedule a call with me on the website to just say hi and learn about the chapter. And one of the times I got on a call, the very first thing a woman said to me is like, I just want to be clear, I'm not doing anything violent. And I'm like, sister, neither am I. Like, I don't want to do anything violent either. Like, that's not what we're here for. But that's again, like, people have this mindset of politics and political activism and that it's this really disgusting, scary thing. And so to Jess's point, like just coming to like a happy hour or a family dinner and showing like, no, we're just all neighbors. We're just everyday people. There's nothing crazy or radical about us can often be that, initial hurdle that has to get over for a lot of people. And so that's why we continue to have the community events that we do. So I know that some of my really hardcore activist members are like, why are we wasting time on drinks? We should be out protesting. Porque no los dos. We can do both, right? Like we need to do the protesting, but we also need to get new people in. And it's a lot easier to bring new people in with something that's a much lighter life. Awesome. Well, that is about it. I mean, there's 4 more minutes if anyone has a last second question they want to slip in, but otherwise we will wrap things up here. We appreciate all of you for being here, not just tonight, but also for the entire chapter and everything else you may be doing. Yeah, we can't do any of this without you. And I'll echo again, we are not experts on anything. So please feel free at any time. The door is open to let us know your thoughts, your ideas, and where you might like to see things go. So we are very receptive to that. All right. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it so much. And we'll see you at one of the next events, I'm sure. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. You gotta